Welcome, Ultimate fans, to Ultiworld's coverage of the 2018 U.S. Open, brought to you by USA Ultimate and produced by Ultiworld. I'm Keith Rayner, joined in the booth by Becky Thompson, and we have a women's division semifinal before us. San Francisco Fury taking on Washington, D.C. Scandal, two teams with rich histories, but so far the tournaments have gone a little bit different for these two teams, and I think Fury would be a favorite going into this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Fury are coming into this undefeated. Scandal, of course, had that one tough loss in pool play to Brute Squad. They lost 15-3, so definitely going to be an interesting matchup to see how they respond to playing a big force here in the Ultimate world.
Absolutely, and Scandal has won all their games since that loss, so got off to a bit of a rocky start. Have had a couple close games, have been tested, but have passed those tests, and now they have a different test altogether in dealing with a team as talented and experienced as Fury. However, Fury at this tournament really trying to rebound from a disappointing World Club Championships. Yeah,
they didn't have the best World Club Championships that they could have. They lost in the quarterfinals to Riot, and that was a tough matchup, to Brute Squad, and a tough replay of the final last year from USA Nationals in that game as well. So they're definitely looking to bounce back and maybe set themselves up for a rematch of that game in the final if Brute Squad can come on top of Molly Brown.
Yeah, those two teams playing in the other semifinal behind us. We've got Fury in the blues here, getting set to receive. Scandal in the whites. You see Alex Gesquier, better known as Dutchy in the Ultimate community, talking to his D-line. His opposite counterpart, Maddie Sang. The two have been tied together in so many ways over the past few years, not in attendance. So Fury has basically a coach and a player in Alex Snyder, among others on the team. They have plenty of coaching acumen among their roster. We see Snyder, last year's Offensive Player of the Year, designing the offense. Scandal set for the first pull. And Lindsay Sue, one of the new additions to the Scandal team, with the opening pull. Disc centered up to Snyder. Maggie Rudin looking deep for Sarah Griffith. Sarah Griffith in chase, and a layout grab from Griffith to open the scoring for Fury.
We talked a few times earlier this week about how the impact of Serge Griffiths would be on this Fury team. It's her first tournament playing here for Fury, coming off a World Championship win with Riot, and plays like that are exactly why she's one of the best cutters in the division. So much speed, and she just got faster as she cut towards that disc, made it look effortless to make that grab.
Serge Griffith making her debut with Fury at this tournament. Played the beginning of the season in the World Club Championships with Riot, a team she spent 10 years with, the rival of this Fury side, but moving to San Francisco and just recently finished that move, and now picking up with Fury. I'm sure odd for her to don the blue, but looking pretty comfortable out there, getting horizontal for the score.
Yeah, definitely a new storyline being created here for Serge Griffith, but looks pretty comfortable so far, and what a great start from Fury as well, showing no fear in just, they get that under. It was a bit of a contested under, and turns around, and Rudin just shoots it deep as soon as there's no mark on her, and I think we're going to see a little bit of spark from them throughout the course of this game.
So now we'll get a look at the Scandal offense. See the Fury defense. Opie Payne, who of course came up with this Scandal team, helped them win a couple national championships, sometimes over this Fury team. On the line. Not the only former Scandal player on the line for Fury as well. Pull out of bounds, however. Kat Radcliffe, who's back with the team after a hiatus. She is going to be one of the center handlers for this team. Central thrower. Nowhere for her to go upfield, so she drops it off for Jessie O'Connor, and there's a pick downfield.
And you can see Fury as well is playing a very kind of poachy junk set here as well. They're playing person, but they're poached off into the lanes to try to stop any upfield throws as well.
Poaching is forcing the Scandal offense to look at second, third options. So far, it's only the handlers who've touched the disc, and they've lost about 5 yards. High throw from Ratcliffe, intercepted or blocked, rather, by Anna Reed. So now Fury moving the other direction. Awad Kareem looking for the back corner and chased down by Marika Austin. Fury breaks to take a 2-0 lead.
Fury just coming out with a very tight person set as well, taking away those lanes with the poaches, and Scandal couldn't find an option but to shoot a floaty over-the-top throw that led to a easily picked off D from Reed. And then Awad Kareem here shoots a nice around backhand to a wide-open cutter in the end zone, and Fury making this look easy in the first 2 points, Keith.
Yeah, well, when you give a team like Fury a short field, it often is going to be easy. They're so experienced and skilled. And Awad Kareem, another one of the former Scandal players on the team, and they're showing them what they're missing as she fires one to the end zone. And Austin, with great awareness, gets the disc and brings it in before it leaves the field of play. Awad Kareem moving to the West Coast to start her graduate student experience. So she is now in California. A great pickup for Fury. Has played with the U.S. Under-24 national team. Now one of several players on the Fury roster to have that type of experience. Scandal does not have those type of players, and we haven't talked much about the players they don't have, but big losses in Sandy Jorgensen and Jenny Fay have really changed the composition of the roster for Scandal this season.
Yeah, definitely losing that kind of leadership and that kind of leading by example with their play on the field can be a detriment to a team like this.
Another high throw from Scandal and another short field turnover. And a quick score for Fury. Megan Liu brings in an easy break, and it's 3-0.
And Fury there doing exactly the same thing they did on the point before as well. They get that D off the floaty throw, immediately center to the middle, find the break side, and they're off to the races into that far corner of the end zone as well. They've got that open cut every single time. They're so quick with the way that they time those cuts as well. And Scandal's really going to have to find a way to transition a bit faster on defense if they do put those turnovers up. So
Scandal takes a timeout here. Probably the most common timeout in Ultimate, the 3-0 hole timeout. Now, if you're Scandal, you know, we just talked about the last time that they played one of the so-called Big Four. They were just completely overrun by Brute Squad to start this tournament. Are you having shades of that game? Are you worried you can't compete with these types of teams at this point in the season?
You know, I think at this point in the game, not quite yet. I think that's probably what the coach is telling them, is to move their mental game away from thinking about that stuff and focus on playing one-pointer games to 3, as we've talked about before as well. I think for some players it may be a little bit nerve-wracking and a little bit intimidating, especially for a number of these Scandal players who've never played in a major semifinal like this before. So maybe a little bit of an intimidation factor, but I'm sure the coach is just trying to take that away from this part of the game.
A lot of these Scandal players, not only do they lose big playmaking and experience, but I find that the composition of this team is often built on players who didn't come from big-time college programs, weren't playing in national semifinals and finals on ESPN or on live streams. And you can look at this line now, and you've got players from Maryland, from Westchester, from Rutgers. Talented players nonetheless, but most of their big game experience has come with this Scandal team over the past couple seasons.
Yeah, and that's something that's a little bit hard to foster, that kind of culture of winning when the experience you're getting is always with one team and always pushing towards beating the same Big Four teams and matching up against these opponents all the time as well. So definitely possibilities for them to regain that, but playing in big games like this is what starts that culture as well.
So here, a chance for Scandal to build something as they center the disc to Sarah Lord. Initiating cuff for Amy Zhu, and under pressure from Austin. Turnover now for Lord, and another short field for Fury. Awad Al-Karim centers the disc. In the red zone now. Inside break knocked away by Kowalski. So Scandal now looking to get the offense moving. They have struggled in that regard to start this game. And another short field error for Scandal and a timeout from Fury. They set a chance to really take Scandal out of this game with another break.
Yeah, unfortunate to see another short field turnover from Scandal there as well. So needing to find something new. They did do a bit better of a job there on transitioning to defense after that first short field turnover. They managed to find a way to shut down some of those cuts that Amel Abdel-Karim there was looking upfield for quite a few stalls, and they shut those cuts down, and then they did manage to get the D. So that's got to be at least a bit of a confidence booster, knowing that they were able to get a turn off of this Fury D-line.
And that's maybe where you need to turn your attention. When you can't get your offense going, one of the ways that you can try and take control of the game is get your defense going, create some fast break opportunities, maybe create a short field opportunity. Because right now, Scandal has not really found any real offensive momentum. I think if you took the total yardage of their passes so far, they'd probably be in the negatives. And that's through 3 offensive points. So they're going to have to find a way to get a stop here and get the offense moving so they can potentially get on defense and try and take control of this game in that fashion, because their offense right now is being outmatched by this Fury defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Fury taking away any single under option that they've had, and they've been forced to turn it over in the red zone, which is exactly what Fury wants to do. They're happy with the situation right now.
So coming back in with Lakshmi Narayan, she centers to Awad Al-Karim. Handlers working it back and forth. Awad Al-Karim in pain. Up the line. And the pair finishes it off. Former Scandal players just driving the dagger deeper as they now take a 4-0 lead.
And you see the way that they go 1 and 2 there as well, and interesting to see the way Fury doesn't require Opie Payne to clear out into the back of the stack there. They give her the space to make that cut and really work in that little near space in the inside corner of that end zone as well. Perfectly placed throw by Awad Al-Karim there as well. Just a little backhand dish to find Opie cutting back to the near side here.
So a 4-0 hole for Scandal to start this one. Starting to move around personnel. When we talked to Dutchie before the game, he said that they were probably going to try some new things out, experiment. For them, I think their focus is on the long game. They want to be able to compete at their best come the club championships. Unlike the other teams in the semifinals, they weren't at Worlds, so they didn't have to focus on trying to peak twice. And perhaps they could try and take advantage of that. But that also means that for them, they're probably a little bit earlier in their season. This Fury team's already gone through a couple of events, including a long and arduous World Championships bid. And Scandal, however, has played 1 tournament. So in their season's progression, they may just be a little bit earlier on. Zone from Fury. Ratcliffe and Kristen Frankie. Frankie was at Worlds, playing with a South African team. Ratcliffe loves that hammer fake. Maybe Dutchie turning to his experienced players with Roy, Ratcliffe, and Frankie taking on a lot of touches this points. They've been stalwarts for this Scandal team. Laurel Oldershaw now moving into the backfield. She's another new pickup Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe's just one of the most aggressive forehand fakers in women's ultimate, but it's convincing. Defenses move to try and take away those throws. Now just using these upline chiseling cuts to gain yardage inside of the cup. Frankie on the around. Still yardage at a premium for the Scandal offense. Thrown 30 passes or so and haven't really gained too much ground. A stoppage in play after contact between Elena Gorlin and Laura Oldershaw. Probably just discussion about when to come in and where players should be positioned. Seemed like there was no contest to the contact. Frankie finally finds an upfield throw, but the return pass is dropped. Scandal cannot get out of their own way right now. Anna Nazaroff with the disc comes over to Kayla Heldon. Free Howard on the break side, and she winds up a backhand looking for Carolyn Finney, who is all alone on the sideline. An easy break for Fury.
And that goes back to Scandal not finding a way to transition very quickly on their defense as well. They lose the disc on offense, and immediately Carolyn Finney is finding that open space with no defender guarding her at all. Scandal doing a decent job of keeping possession through that zone. Fury was happy to let them dish it back and forth, but they did find a break through that wall. But once they did, the unfortunate drop, Fury is going to take advantage of those mistakes every single time they happen right now.
So the Scandal offense still under great duress. Fury's defense in total control in this one. And I think that for Fury's stock, you know, we expected them. They can enter the season as the #1 ranked team. They're the reigning club champions. They lost basically nobody. They add Sarah Griffith. Another strong rookie class for them as well. And you put rookies in quotation, in air quotes when you talk about this team, because they basically only bring in players who already have elite club experience to the roster. But after the World Club Championships and the way Riot performed, I think that turned the tables a little bit. And Fury looking to prove that they really should still be #1. Riot not in attendance, though, so we won't get to see the two rivals butt heads. And Boston Brute Squad feels like they may have something to say about that if they can get through Molly Brown, the other semifinal. So a little bit of yardage here. Amy Zhu, uncontested opportunity to throw deep. She takes advantage. Giving chase is Ingrid Pedersen, but beyond her reach, but by far the best offensive possession for Scandal so far.
Yeah, Pedersen couldn't get to that, but I like that decision there to throw up that huck and to do something different. They've been so stuck in their own end of the field, so to put that up into space, that was a great opportunity for them and a good shot as well.
Gives them a chance to have a set-up defense rather than having to be in a fast break situation that we've seen Fury so far. And I'm sure Scandal is happy to get a chance to try and shut down this Fury offense on a little more even footing.
Yeah, this is the first time we've really seen the Fury offense have to take it all the way up the field, so it'll be interesting to see what they can do and how Scandal respond.
Nearly generate a short field turn, or they do rather. It looked like that one may have been saved by Kirsten Johnson, but she could not hold on to it, so Jessie O'Connor standing on the goal line to begin an offensive possession for Scandal. But a pick call downfield is going to stop play. Lord on the reset. Lord looking for reset. Backfield getting a bit crowded as players are desperate to get that stall count back to 0, but they finally find some room with the swing. But Lord's throw sails over the head of her receiver, and it's a red zone error for Scandal.
Yeah, that's not what Scandal wanted to accomplish with that. They looked like they got a little bit nervy in that end zone set. There was a lot of players trying to cut to the same spaces at the same time, really desperate to get a goal back here, and that just caused a lot of miscommunications and led to a turnover.
There, a miscommunication, an easy goal for Scandal after the throwaway from Romano. O'Connor with the short dish to Lord, and Scandal's on the board.
And that's got to feel good as well to know that they were able to generate 2 short field turnovers in a row. They didn't score on the first end zone set, but this time taking advantage of that fast break with no defense set up on them yet. And uncharacteristic to see that, but Scandal having a chance to set up their defense back in Fury's end zone, that's got to bode well for them going forward.
And we talked about Scandal's way to take control of this game would be by getting on defense, applying some pressure, and creating offensive opportunities. If your offense is struggling, you try and take control of the game defensively if you can, and there we see Scandal doing that. Get a short field, get 2 short fields really, and then punch it into the red zone.
Be interesting now to see what Scandal's D-line can do on this point. We haven't seen them since the very first point of the game, and of course that one with a great, beautiful huck from Rudin on that first one. So O-line back on the field for Fury now. Haven't seen Alex Snyder back out there since the first point of this game either, Keith.
Yes, she's well rested. But both teams, we've seen the huck coming from the middle of the field after a player took a shot at trying to get a block, and they've conceded then an unmarked throw, the throw from Rudin to Griffith, and we saw it for Scandal from Zoo. And I wonder if defenders are going to get even more aggressive, or if they may try and be a little more conservative to slow down the deep opportunities in continuation.
I do think to some extent they're so close on those 2 throws as well. They were inches away, matters of centimeters from getting a D, so I'd like to see a little bit more of those bids coming through.
Short pull for Scandal is going to give Fury great field position to start. Nazaroff throws the centering pass to Johnson, but her swing is well wide. She'll have her second turnover in as many points. Frankie brings it in on the sideline and immediately centers to Molly Roy. Lindsay Sue up the open side. Sue coming over from Raleigh Phoenix. But there, Roy's throw behind her target, and Cree Howard all over it for the block. Now, Howard with the bookends on a well-placed long throw. 6-1 now, Fury leads.
And Howard completely took off after getting that D as well, but she timed it. She cut out to this near side of the field before cutting that strike cut back in, waiting for that huck to come across from the swing throw. Easily reels that one in inbounds, and Fury, again, taking advantage of a turnover on a very quick transition.
Yeah, and not a great offensive possession for Scandal. Got the defensive pressure they were looking for, but once they were in that situation where they were a little bit disorganized on defense after the turnover created by Howard, Howard's able to take off, and she helped push that confusion. She didn't get the block and then slow down and set up the offense. She took off and pushed the issue, attacking the end zone, and that puts the defense in a position where they are a bit scattered. They have to react right away. Howard, with so much experience, she knows that she can attack the defense after getting a turnover like that.
Yeah, and Fury is going to be continuing to take advantage of those quick turnovers throughout the course of this game as well. Their transition offense is some of the fastest that I've seen in quite a long time as well. Maybe one of the best in the division. That could really help carry them forward. Talk about the context of the entire season as well. Teams are really going to have to find a way to move at that same pace when they do turn over.
So another pull from Fury. Scandal's offense back out there after a very brief break. Lord. Michaela Strick. Now the disc on the sideline. Horizontal stack set from Scandal, but not a lot available in the middle of the field. So they are going wide here, Nada Tremonte. Cutters now finding continuation opportunities. Disc lands in the hands of Kelly Ross. Fury trying to communicate their defensive adjustments as the Scandal offense moves forward with some pace. Lord fights for the break side throw to Strick. Tremate in the middle of the field. Lord now as Scandal enters the red zone. Looking for their first one possession hold. Strick giving it going with Lord. Well defended, but Lord tries to force one to the front cone, and another red zone turnover for Scandal is going to give the disc back to Fury.
Lord, they're just getting a little bit too excited. They managed to work it so well all the way up the field. Fury not really contesting a lot of those cuts. That was some of the cleanest offense we have seen so far from Scandal, but maybe just getting a little bit too excited. That opportunity on the end zone wasted.
Finney checks in. Short up line to Mead, and she keeps it moving. Completely undefended Megan Liu in the middle of the field. And a poach D from Lord. Intercepting that one, and now another red zone opportunity. Ratcliffe, up line to O'Connor. Fury playing great red zone defense, really taking away the front cone. Great attack from Scandal. Nice switch from Fury to contain it. They stopped a couple of what would have been open up lines, but Slord keeps working. She's got it on the front cone.
Correct. If you run into the end zone, she can start stalling as soon as you catch. Did the pick affect this at all? Okay. Okay. We're here on one. Yep.
So Lord ready to bring it in with Mead on the mark. Just a few feet away, and Ratcliffe gets off the around break to Strick for a hold. Scandal trail 6-2.
Scandal's got to be a little bit happier with that point. They stayed more patient on the second red zone possession that they had. Fury's defense is so good in the end zone. You see the way Carolyn Finney cuts across the end zone in order to take away that break shot before coming onto the mark as well, and the switches that they were calling too. So good job from the patience here. Scandal finding Kayla Strick open on that break side of the end zone, and that is some of the best offense we have seen from them throughout this game so far.
Handlers for the Scandal team working very hard to create some space, fighting to get off around breaks so they can get out of that front cone mentality that Fury was shutting down. And that's what you want, is you want to make Fury tackle difficult challenges like making switches midpoint, rolling off cutters, defending break side. And Scandal, they're forcing the defense to do that, but Fury nearly up to the task. Now Scandal back on defense, which is probably where they want to be, considering the 4-goal hole they are in.
Yeah, Scandal will be happy to be back in this position. They've got to try and do something a little bit different. The O-line for Fury is so efficient in the way that they cut. They've got to find a way to stifle it and maybe even frustrate them a little bit if they're going to generate a turn.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a zone here from Scandal. They really just need to have a long point so that they can get this offense some rest. But they're going to come out, match up. Now here's Beth Kaler getting her first touch for Fury. Great cut from Johnson. Snyder easily finds her. And now Howard looking to the end zone. And Cooper, maybe not the intended target, but is the recipient. Lisa Cooper with the goal. And another quick hold for Fury.
Yeah, Miri Chang looked like she might have been the receiver there from our angle, but that shot ending up in the hands of the other receiver, but Fury again making this look so easy as they flow all the way up the field. They don't hold the disc for more than 1 or 2 stalls in their hands. Disc gets centered to the middle. Kristen Johnson finds a receiver in the middle, and then not the intended receiver. Meidi Chang was right behind her, but manages to come down with it as Cooper, and another easy hold here for Fury.
Hey, you know, it's better than 1 open receiver, 2 open receivers. And maybe Cree Howard said, you know, I'll just let my teammates figure this one out. But a great cut there from Johnson. Scandal has often employed some handler poaches. So they like to sit in the lanes a little bit, clog things up by poaching off of the resets. And what that means is that your handler defenders are sometimes focused on the disc rather than the person that they're guarding. Johnson recognizes that Frankie is looking at the disc and not her, takes off the line, and with a thrower like Snyder, she's easily going to find you. And from that position, Johnson could continue to make yardage-gaining throws and hurt the Scandal defense.
Yeah, Scandal, not much of a chance to adjust when they move it that quickly, only holding the disc for 1 stall at that point. Scandal's got to try and generate a little bit of forcing those cutters under. They're getting open deep all day right now.
So with a break, Fury could take half and conclude a dominant first half in the semifinals here. And that is not going to help Scandal's cause. Just a drop from Ratcliffe, but given back by Awad Kareem. So basically a reset here, a loss of yardage, but Scandal with another possession. Ratcliffe's throw misses the hands it was looking for, but finds another player. Bid from Nazaroff comes up short. Tremonte's got the disc, and there's a call. So, disc in with Tremonte, dislodged from her hands by Nazaroff on the mark. Tremonte dishes back to O'Connor. And another drop from Scandal. Ross can't hold on to that one. So Nazaroff picks up low inside break. Pulled up off the turf. But the second one cannot be. So a bout of inefficiency from Fury that we haven't seen yet, and Scandal hoping to take advantage.
Yeah, a little unforced turnovers there from Fury, pretty uncharacteristic of them. They're going to want to clean that up, maybe just a little bit desperate here to take half.
Meanwhile, Scandal offense still sputtering. Another short field opportunity for Fury. Inside break from Nazaroff, gets the disc off the line. Throws a gainer up ahead to Claire McKeever. Before play is stopped.
And you can see the way that Anna Nazaroff is directing traffic as well for Fury. Constantly looking and kind of pointing to where she wants that next cut to be as well. And that is such a valuable thing for your team to always know exactly where you need to be cutting and where you need to be to get that disc.
Nazaroff, a former Callahan winner. Has been one of the best women in the club division for some time. Has plenty of all-club accolades to her name, and is one of those players who just makes her teammates better. She is versatile, sets her teammates up for success, kind of player who gives you easy throws to catch, rewards you for being in a good field position. And with her years of experience, she's playing for 15 years. She has built a healthy resume as well as an extensive knowledge of the game, and is not only has that knowledge but is good at utilizing it and imparting it to her teammates.
Yeah, she kind of comes in with a knowledge base and experience that is just unparalleled to a lot of other players right now in the division. She's played for the USA national team so many times, World Games obviously in 2017 too. So to be able to bring that kind of level of athleticism mixed with that experience is really just a dominant force that is valuable to any team right now.
So coming out of the timeout, Fury looking to take half with some good execution after struggling a bit on this point. Checked in, and McKeever gets the reset off to Nazarov, who tacks up the line. Shinawara Kareem looking to use that upline attack, but it's Marissa Mead who finds the open space there. Helden towards the end zone and completed to Narayan to take us to half. Fury with a strong showing in the first half. Pile up 5 breaks against Scandal and hold an 8-2 lead.
Narayan easily bringing in that score. There was 2 offenders there as well. Emodel Kareem was also in the open space, so good communication from Fury, and that's exactly what they want to do coming out of a timeout, execute in order to take half, leading 8-2 over Scandal right now.
So the teams will take 10 minutes to take a break. We're going to take 10 minutes to take a break, but since this is a game you're probably watching in our film package, you don't have to take 10 minutes. Just click a little fast forward, or if you need, go grab a sandwich and a snack, something like that, take a bathroom break. But we will take a 10-minute break and be back with you shortly. Welcome back to the 2018 U.S. Open, presented by USA Ultimate and produced by UltiWorld. I'm Keith Rayner, joined in the booth by Becky Thompson. Second half underway, a quick first half in that one, a dominant showing from San Francisco Fury, holding an 8-2 lead over Washington, D.C. Scandal.
Yeah, Fury just have come out with an absolute fire, and you can tell how badly they want the disc. Whenever they do get that turn, they transition to their offense so quickly, and Scandal has had a huge problem adapting to that speed of the game, and they've struggled throughout the course of it so far. They've shown a little bit of improvement on their offense through the end of that second half, but they are yet to really generate any kind of fire that matches what Fury is bringing.
Fury doing a great job of taking away the first look for Scandal. Their offense has not been able to get a lot of flow going because they haven't been able to attack with their athletes. So they've had to grind it out from the backfield. And we'll see what adjustments these two teams will make during the break. Of course, Scandal's Alex Gesquier, a noted strategist. So he's coached this team through many a comeback. But this one would be a tough task even for Dutchy and Scandal. So Fury on D to start. Romano with the first pull. And Kowalski picks up and centers to Frankie. Side stack look. Ito gets the first touch. Backwards, though, for Scandal. Michelle Carey gets a disc in the middle of Frankie. Pedersen. Back, and Zhu unable to get off the deep shot. Scandal's been trying to create some opportunities to go deep after these ISOs in continuation, and Fury's defense has done a great job taking them away. Kowalski now looking for anywhere to continue the throws, and there does, looking for Carey, but it kind of pops up over her head. It's a turnover.
Yeah, Scandal not able to keep control of that one. They were working it up the field so well, and now we get a chance again to see Fury's transition to offense.
Austin takes the first pass and hands it back to Finney. Now Surge up line to Finney. Lots of space for Opie Payne, and this one hangs. It's a jump ball, and Payne goes up a little early. Gets her hands on it, but can't haul it in. And the World Games connection there, failing Fury.
Yeah, Surge up to Finney and then up to Payne. That's a great combination to have. But Opie unable to reel that one in. You could see a little bit of disappointment on her face after that. She was a little bit frustrated with not being able to get to that one, but just sailed a little too far overhead as she tried to move backwards to make that catch.
So offense reinitiating for Scandal, and great grab from Amy Zhu, but may only preserve possession as it looks like a call is going to send the disc back. May actually get some extra time out of that because it seemed like the stall count was getting pretty high, so now back to 6. Find some room for Sue. Still unable to get any deep looks going. Swinging across the field, Carey holding with Hermano on the mark. Break side for Zhu. Kowalski into the middle for Pedersen, but it's a little bit low. Fury takes possession. Finney inside break, and Payne to the break side for Liu. And the arc of the first half continues into the second. Fury up 9-2.
Fury making no mistakes this time on their second chance to transition back to offense, and You see the way that their D-line moves so well for each other. Carolyn Finney takes this inside shot across to Opie Payne, which opens up the entire break side for an easy grab in the end zone. And we've seen Fury do that so well throughout the course of this weekend as well. They love those inside shots, and they really do rely on getting that disc to the break side to have those open cuts as well.
Liu collecting her second goal of the game. Megan Liu, a product of Iowa State, part of a very strong Iowa State team, and then played with CLX in the mixed division. And now competing in a semifinal. Her brother Bob played in the semifinal last night with Ring of Fire. And right now, though, Megan and her team having a lot more success than that Ring team did. They look very impressive and ready for a potential final matchup against the winner of Boston Brute Squad and Denver Molly Brown. Lord swinging to Ratcliffe. Cutter's churning, but finding very little separation. Throwers opening up things to the break side. Lord coming back to Strick. Fury just swarming the Scandal offense, and Strick with another giveaway, and a short field for Fury turns into a timeout by Meaty Chang.
A good timeout call there from Meaty Chang as well, right in the middle of the field, about 2-3 yards out of the end zone line. And unfortunate there for Scandal, the handler defense here from Fury so tight when looking for that reset, and Kayla Strick couldn't find an open option, opted to try and put it back out to the handler. At that point, maybe opting to go for the huck at the late stall count would have been a better option.
Right now, Scandal's offense is 2 for 14. Scored on just 2 of their 14 offensive possessions. So, I've just been struggling to find any real room, and Fury not doing anything complicated, just intense, tight defense, smart poaches, and I think that pressure you're seeing from them is yielding what look like unforced errors from Scandal. And with windows tight, stall counts climbing, and a lot of pressure to try and make every throw count, we've seen Scandal turfing throws, throwing throws wide, and a lot of that's probably being generated by the fact that there's a blue shirt just a couple feet away from every player that Scandal's throwing to.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Keith. They're so tight to the hips of the Scandal players, and that's caused a lot of panic decisions from the Scandal offense.
Chang checks in. Early break side throw to Nazaroff. It's kind of a poaching defense out of the timeout from Scandal. Slows the scoring down for Fury, and now they're about a yard outside. Narayan, clean reset, and then Chang with the continue. But there may be a travel or pick call. So discussion about the nature of the pick call. Strick saying that Gorlin was in her way, prevented her from being able to try and make a play on Chang's throw to McKeever. So Chang checks it in, and a lot of stoppage, but can't stop the Fury offense. Chang with a little dish to Helton. 10-2.
Yeah, Kayla Helton there making that look pretty easy. She was wide open in space there and just jumps a little bit backwards. And you see Kayla Strick here looking for an option, and the tight defense from those Fury defenders on the resets took away any option. And then a little bit of a struggle here at first for Fury to get it in, but eventually Kayla Helton open, easy little jump into the end zone, unmarked for the score, and not surprised to see Helton put up a couple points in this game.
Absolutely not. Helton, a veteran of this Fury team, has been with them for 7-8 seasons, was a key part of UC Santa Barbara and their deep runs at the college championships. And another connection to Ring of Fire. I mentioned Megan Lou's brother, Bob, playing with them. And Kayla's recently minted husband, Goose, Jonathan Helton, also on Ring of Fire. And he and Bob Lou have been playing together on multiple teams for seasons now, so. Andrew Romano readying the pole for Fury. Side stack ISO for Scandal, reveals a flood play to the back for Kelly Ross. Frankie winds one up, looking deep for Byers. Byers in chase, and the speedster gets to it before the back line closes in. Frankie to Byers for the hold to make it 10-3.
And part of me wonders, Keith, where some of that offense was earlier in this game as well. That's a great cut. So much speed behind Byers there. And easily, I mean, that disc looked like it was flying so far away from her, but that disc caught up to so quickly as the legs just extend to get there. And you got to wonder why they haven't been putting that up much sooner in this game.
Byers, a rookie on this Scandal team, played with Green Means Go out of Philadelphia and club scene. Also played with Westchester College, helped that team reach the national championships for the first time in program history this season. And Byers made a big splash as an athletic cutter, and you can see why. She had plenty of separation from Kaler. She headed to the back line. And imagine Scandal's hoping Byers will be an impact player for them this season and seasons to come. And credit Byers for the speedy run, but also Scandal getting to the break side and finally finding some room to huck. Fury has been containing Scandal to short throws most of the game. Frankie gets to the break side and has some room to unleash the backhand. It's been tough sledding for the Scandal offense, but potentially a recipe for success. Now the defense will take their turn, look for their first break. Cooper resets to Snyder. All the way around the horn for Fury, and now working sideline to sideline, pendulum motion from the offense as they enter the red zone. Chang, Cooper working together. Then an open side throw to finish that one off. Chang gets her second straight assist for Fury on the throw to Howard.
Chang just going 1 and 2 up the line there as well. You could see the Scandal defense tried to poach off, almost let her go to try and stop that immediate backhand break shot as well that we've seen Fury put up so many times, and Chang just taking advantage of that, finds Howard cutting under from the back of the end zone, and just like that, Fury up 11-3, and I mean, you always gonna want to talk about the possibilities of a comeback, but at this point, Keith, I think Fury is headed straight to the finals.
Absolutely, and Weedy Chang with her second straight assist. Graduate out of Michigan, but actually hails from Tennessee. Played with Polar Bears prior to playing with Fury. Lefty handler is a sneaky thrower, always has been, and here finds some success. So Fury in full control of this semifinal. Feeling comfortable and lighthearted. get the game out of the way in the morning. Women's final taking place tonight. So they'll have an extensive break and time to get their minds right, maybe study some film, some nutrition. Barring a miraculous scandal comeback, should that happen, be happy to eat my words since I'll get to witness one of the greatest comebacks in the history of the game. Sue winding one up and putting it out and drops in over the head of the defender. A goal for Casey Gorman on the assist from Lindsay Sue, and the deep game getting things moving for Scandal.
It's great to see Lindsay Sue finally getting involved for the Scandal offense as well. She's been taken out of the play a lot with the likes of Serge Griffiths marking her, and so it's great to see her come under, turn around, places a perfect flick put to the end zone for Scandal, and that's 2 holds in a row for Scandal, which we haven't seen them do at all in this game yet.
And that deep game, like we mentioned, now finally working after Fury was able to take it away for the first 2/3 of the game. Sue, a member of the All-Star Ultimate Tour a couple seasons back. Kind of an off-the-radar player playing it in Division III till she took a grad student year with UNC, started playing with Raleigh's Phoenix, and then participated on the All-Star Tour. I believe she's also a Sin the Fields All-Star. So Lindsay Sue building a nice little resume for herself. Still young, and DC's happy to have a playmaker of her caliber considering the losses they had for their offense.
Yeah, Lindsay Sue, another player from that U24 women's team in Perth, Australia this year as well, playing against some of her teammates from that one too. So good to see her getting involved, and like you said, Keith, a lot of potential for a player like her going forward with the Scandal team.
So now the pull and center to Snyder. Snyder winding up one of those dangerous break throws. Fury offense looking patient, but now finding a breakthrough to penetrate through the defense. Nazarov takes off and forces some defensive switches, and that frees up Romano underneath. Snyder up the line. Fury into the red zone as they go across to the break side for Rudin. And now another open side goal. This time Nazarov on the receiving end. And no comeback in sight as the Fury offense continues to look pristine.
We've mentioned this before as well, Keith, but the way that Fury moved the disc on a pendulum across the field, swinging it back and forth so quickly, makes it so tough on any defense, even a really good one, to keep up with the pace of that disc. I mean, the disc always does move faster than running, right? So the ability to move it across that quickly back and forth, the defense had to bite on that break side opportunity, which led to Anna Nazarov being wide open on the open side.
Yeah, I totally agree. The break side ability of this Fury team has forced defenders to play tighter and tighter and giving their cutters time to find space on the open side. A lot of goals to that front cone for Fury. Showed off the fundamentals. So an extensive lead for Fury, looking to close it out. I'm sure they'd love to stay efficient. Have yet to concede a break. Offense has given just one break chance this game. Now back on defense. Getting to the break side again with Tremonte. Ratcliffe with Payne on the mark. I think there's a call. I don't think that the little hand wave from Ratcliffe is necessarily a textbook signal, but body language says there's a stoppage. O'Connor, nowhere to go, and swings it. Now Byers. Resetting. Pressure from Fury, keeping Scandal in the midfield. O'Connor goes upfield, and not sure if we'll have a call here, but it does look like we are going to discuss.
Looks like an injury call there for Meidi Chang. Scandal player just making sure she's all right. I think that was a great D there, just maybe landing a little bit on her shoulder from the way she's holding that right shoulder on the sideline right now.
So Fury with another chance to break.
We're in for 13 to get off the field, then tap the disc, and we'll be in. 20.
Carolyn Finney starts things off right away with an inside break to Payne. Then goes and gets it back. Finney, inside break. Austin, inside break. Payne, inside break turnover. Couldn't keep it going.
We talked about getting caught up in those inside breaks the other day as well, Keith, and maybe just one too many shots on that point there.
Scandal's offense giving a short field as Zhu tries to hit the reset, but can't find the hands of O'Connor. And easy score, Finney to Awal Kareem.
Brute Squad Fury here making that look so easy as well. I was just going to mention the Brute Squad Molly Brown game is in halftime now, and that one a much closer contest than the game we're watching right now. Fury set up for either team at this point. Brute Squad have only just taken half 8-7, Keith, so going to be an interesting matchup to see whatever happens there, but Fury now absolutely running away with this game. They're up 13-4, and at this point there is not much more that Scandal can do except for try to execute their game plan and improve from the situation as well.
Or they could petition the captains and the observers to add a three-point line and see if they can get back into this with this deep game they've been using. But more realistically, and back to your point about Brute Squad and Molly Brown, Brute Squad up 6-2 early in that game, so Molly Brown showing some of their characteristic grit and fighting back into that game. Molly Brown has struggled a little bit in their big-time matchups, haven't quite been able to take a win off any of the other members of the Big Four, but now have the opportunity to do so and try and get into this U.S. Open final where all things as they are, looks like they will match up with Fury should they achieve victory there.
One thing I really like about Fury's defense as well is that they have never let up throughout the course of this game. You often see teams, even some of the best teams out there, take a little bit of a rest on their defense once they go up by so many points. And Fury never taking their foot off the pedal throughout the course of this game, and it's really caused some issues for Scandal, who's been unable to work it up the field on the majority of these points.
So Jesse O'Connor, the discentered zone defense from Fury. Seen them try this maybe once or twice so far this game. Moving the disc just among the handlers. Attacking the middle of the cup. Fury happy to let these 2-yard passes go as Scandal has not shown the ability to execute for really long offensive stretches. So now Handler's just walking up Ratcliffe, Frankie, and O'Connor. Despite being outnumbered in the backfield. And Ratcliffe finally tries to go upfield and is picked off by an opportunistic Nazaroff. Deep shot from Finney. Uncontested Helton. Layout grab for Helton to put an exclamation point on that break.
Nazaroff heads up play there, saw that disc coming on the swing the entire way and moving it so quickly across the field to Finney, who sees Kayla Helton streaking to the end zone. Helton maybe lost it a little bit while it was in the air, tracks it back down and makes the epic layout grab. Just putting the nails right into the coffin here, Keith.
Watch Helton track this one and then make sure of it. Seen a lot of plays like that from Kayla Helton over the years. Fury marches forward, now just one goal away from advancing to the final. Take another look. Finney with the inside forehand to go cross field, but when your target's that open, you kind of just want to get it up, and it matters less how you do it and more that you do it.
Yeah, and Finney without really a mark fully set up on her as well, so had the time to set her pivot and find her balance before putting that flick huck up. And like you said, Kayla Hilton so open, so credit to Finney for not rushing that as quickly as she possibly could have.
Match defense now. And another turnover from Scandal. They have just been out of sorts. Reed in the middle of the field. Anna Reed, perhaps one of the less heralded new additions to Fury, but has been one of the top players on Minneapolis Pop after graduating from Carleton University. She helped lead them to deep bracket run at the college championships in her day. Payne. I think every player on this Fury line has managed to get into the backfield somehow at some point, but that just shows their versatility. Everybody comfortable. So Romano, I think, taking a timeout with nowhere really to go, and Colleen Gilia discusses this stall count. It looks like it'll come in on 6 after teams take 90 seconds to huddle up.
Yeah, Fury at this point just really looking to close out this game. And like you said there, Keith, they're really comfortable in rotating back into those backfield positions, cutting up and then coming back. Opie Payne constantly all over the field throughout the course of this game as well. And that is one thing that has separated Fury from Scandal. Scandal much more set in their position so far in this game.
And that's one of the luxuries of the Fury program, always taking in such experience and elite talent. Most of these players probably handled at points in their career for their college teams or other teams where they were the A1 dominant player. And then you come to Fury and you get to be a role player, take some of the pressure off yourself, but you have the experience of having to do a little bit of everything. So typically they have a really well-rounded cast of players who can play offense, defense, different positions and zones, can handle, can cut. And that versatility has been one of the hallmarks of Fury through most of the program's existence. Certainly in the modern era where they recruit so strongly.
Yeah, and that makes them such a viable team program for players who have come out, been top players in their college programs, to want to be on a team like Fury where they get the opportunity to find their role and to play with players who are really going to support them to be the best that they can be as well.
I mean, I can't – over the past 5 years, I can't think of a single Fury player who was new to the roster who Fury was their first elite club team. Romano and a high stall, so she's just going to kind of toss one up there and knocked away by a team of Scandal defenders, though Sue probably credited with the block. A stall, however, was called back at the throw.
If it's an uncontested stall, the disc would come back here.
I mean, I called a stall because I think I was a stall. So I'm not going to take it back just because, you know what I mean? I feel like that would be good.
You agreed, you contest. Do either of you want to come to me for a ruling?
I thought I got it off. So I
Okay.
guess come to you.
You're coming to me?
Well, I don't know.
Sure.
Or you don't want to take it back. I thought I got it off.
Okay, you're coming to me for a ruling. My ruling is that it was a stall.
Okay.
So the disc comes back here.
So we don't get a chance to see in the wild the extremely rare, almost extinct uncontested stall. Contested stall, but the observer rules that was a stall. Play reinitiating, I think, before the players had reestablished their position. So I think we're going to push the rewind button.
Yeah, players there are a little bit eager to get play back underway. The Scandal players happy to get this turnover back. They want to make Fury really earn this point at this point, not just give them the game point here. So a credit to the stall down call, but just getting a little bit excited maybe to move the disc upfield.
So disc going back to Scandal, looking at punch in one, and potentially on a high note. Lord in the middle. Likes to move the disc quickly. Tremonte gets it over to Michelle Carey, and she puts a big one up. 2 targets in the area. Lindsay Sue claims that one. Probably the highlight of the day for Scandal as Sue goes up with the left hand for the grab.
We're seeing Sue do it on both sides of the disc now. She's put up that flick huck earlier in the game and now going deep, making it look effortless to come down with this huck. Disc comes to the near side of the field, immediately goes up. Lindsay Sue reading that one, moves slightly to her left and elevates before any other player has even had a chance to make a jump.
Sue just attacking the disc in the air, high pointing it. And again, another deep score for Scandal. Of their 5 goals, 3 have been on deep shots, and all of those 3 have come in the second half, so perhaps an adjustment from Scandal's offense. Looking to use their size and athleticism.
It's definitely something I think Scandal is going to want to use going forward into the postseason as well. They have to look back at this game and see that that's really what was effective for their offense through the course of the second half, and using players like Briers and Sue in those initiating, both cutting and throwing roles could be a serious advantage for them if they want to grow. And like you said, Scandal a bit more at the start of their season compared to Fury, who just came off the World Club Championship. So definitely some good points for them to take away going forward into the next tournaments of the season.
Now here's a long gainer from Rudin up ahead to Clancy, and then Clancy just flips it to the end zone, and Ito able to break that up and getting the first turn from the Fury offense on what otherwise would have been the game's final point. Ito just a tip on that. Just enough, though. So now looking to potentially get their first break of the game. Oldershaw, inside break, hangs high, but secondary effort. Hannah Boone. Heads up play to get there, and now Amy Zhu into the middle for Roy. Frankie absorbs the contact. And Kowalski rushes the give-and-go throw. So, no break yet for Scandal. Snyder all the way across the field to Howard. Into the red zone with Rudin. The U.S. Open final just a couple yards away for Fury. And Nazarov drops the hips and tosses an inside forehand that ends this game to Clancy. Fury crushing the opposition with a 15-5 win that'll send them to the final.
Fury making that look so easy once they did regain possession there. You see the way that on each cut, the cutters are shoulder checking and looking to make sure that that disc is meant for them. Rudin could have made a play on that one that came all the way over to the sideline for Howard. Shoulder checked, saw Howard coming into that space as well, and then they get the opportunity to swing it all the way across the field. We see them get back to the break side that we know they love so much, and easy work for them. They're on to the final against the winner of Brute Squad, Molly Brown, yet to be determined, but should be an exciting matchup no matter what.
Just a single turn for the Fury offense, 12 different goal scorers for San Francisco. They're going to be really happy with this effort. Scandal will go back to the drawing board while Fury will move on to the U.S. Open final. Final score here, Fury 15, Scandal 5. Thanks for joining us for this semifinal matchup. We will see you next time.